This is a pair of my son's pants. Its waist and around the hip are all working fine for him. He just grew taller and the pants legs are a little bit too short on him. So I'm gonna try to add some rib knit fabric at the bottom, kind of like the hem on this pair, like this. I'm going to use 2x2 rib knit fabric. This one is from Joann fabric. 2x2 rib knits have very good stretch and very good recovery. You can also use other materials like this one as long as it's thicker than medium weight with at least 40% stretch and has good recovery, which means that when you stretch the fabric, it does not stay stretched and the fabric comes back to its original shape. You can also cut off ribbing from your old sweatshirt to use for this. I'm going to unpick the seams on the hems. When you do this, do it from the wrong side so that you're not nicking the good side of the fabric. This seam is done by an overlocker or a serger. There are thread loops between the two lines of stitching and you want to cut actual stitchings at the top and the bottom to undo these seams. Here I cut out two pieces of 7 by 9 inch rectangles. This will make cuffs with 8 inch circumference when they're not stretched with ½ inch seam allowance. A rectangle piece is folded lengthwise and attached to the hem of the pants like this. The cuffs need to be slightly bigger than the kid's ankles so they're not too tight on them, and also they need to be stretched to match the length of the original hem of the pants. Put short edges together with the right sides facing inside and sew here with ½ inch seam allowance. Now open the seam allowances and then fold the piece in half, keeping the seam allowances nice and flat inside. Like this. Now mark 4 places, dividing the circumference in 4 equal sections. Do the same to the hem of the pants and flip the pants inside out and match the markings. And you're going to stretch the cuff as you sew. If your pants are made of stretchy material, you also want to stretch the pants slightly here so the stitching will not break later. And when you stop and adjust, make sure the needle is down in the fabric so the fabrics don't shift when you stretch the next section. You can lock stitch these raw edges together with a serger if you have it. Or with zigzag stitch if you have a regular home sewing machine. Or you could hand finish them like this. I'm using double thread. It's very similar to a blanket stitch, but your needle goes through the two strands. And like this, you have to kind of put the two strands separately and you form the V shape on this side, and the other side is like a regular blanket stitch. I like to stitch here because it helps control the fullness of the seam allowance on this side, and This side is just a blanket stitch.